Merry Christmas! Hey up, it's Steve from Old Yorkshire Geek, and it's Christmas Day! Yay! I've eaten too much, I've drunk a little bit too much, I've got some Jack Daniels and Coke here. So I may get a bit incoherent later. Not that I'm not normally. Anyway, welcome to the special edition of Magnificent Mondays. I'm slurring already. The Christmas Day Bond film, and today we're breaking down and reviewing Thunderball from 1965. Is it the controversial one, or the one that's got legal issues all tied up with it that went on for donkey's years, didn't they? Anyway, so that's what we're doing today. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube and Rumble. I don't know what I'm pointing up there for. I'm pointing up there because from my point of view, the tabs are there. YouTube, Rumble, and Twitch. Don't know why I keep doing Twitch. I just do. It's supposed to be for games, but I never play games on Twitch. Maybe I'll stop. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Anyway, and all that. Also links for my social medias and my Spotify and all that stuff down there. And links in the description for stuff like merch and my books, Amazon Kindle and paperback, etc. My websites, my other channels, da-di-da-di-da. Become a member and you get early access videos and exclusive videos and stuff like that. Right, Justin got in early. Wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Justin. Hope you've had a lovely day, and I hope everybody watching has had a lovely day and are now relaxing and getting over the stress of it all, because Christmas Day can be stressful. But anyway, right, so yes, Thunderball. Right, Thunderball from 1965. I shall talk about it for a minute and then we'll get into it. Directed by Terence Young. This was originally supposed to be the first James Bond film, but because what happened way back in the 50s, I can't remember exactly when. Let me check. Does it say here? It doesn't say. I don't think. But way back in the 50s, Ian Fleming wanted to do a James Bond film before he sold the rights to Harry Saltzman and all that. He wanted to do a James Bond film, and he teamed up with Kevin McClory, Boo, Hiss, and Jack Whittingham, and they started writing a script for a story that they were making up, not based on one of his James Bond books, a new story. And they started doing a screenplay for Thunderball. And eventually Ian Fleming got bored of the screenwriting process, so he said, I can't be bothered. So he went back to GoldenEye in Jamaica, and basically just wrote the book Thunderball. So then Kevin McClory and Jack Whittingham sued him, and they were successful. It was settled out of court, and a lot of the movie rights went over to Kevin McClory, which is why this is the only one of the Eon Bond films that doesn't have Harry Saltzman and Cubby Broccoli as producers. They are relegated essentially to executive producers, although I think they really made the film, I suppose. And Kevin McClory is credited as the producer. Anyway, it famously would go on to get remade as Never Say Never Again in 1983-ish, or thereabouts. Anywho, it was directed by Terence Young, who had directed Dr. No and the next one, From Russia With Love. The original wanted Guy Hamilton to come back. He'd just done Goldfinger, but he said he was burnt out and he wouldn't be very good. So they got Terence Young back in, and he directed it. Stars Sean Connery, obviously, as James Bond 007. Claudine Auger, I'm probably going to mispronounce these names. Claudine Auger, Adolfo Celli, the gorgeous Luciana Paluzzi. She's one of my top favourite Bond girls of all time. She blooming is. Rick Van Nutter, cool name, although I did hear it pronounced Nutter in the audio commentary. I bet it's Nutter. And various other people. Martin Bezic is in it as well, and other people. Right, so what else? At the budget of about It says here on Wikipedia $9 million, but I've seen $2 million. But I've heard that the budget for this was more than the combined budgets for the first 3 films. But it was the most financially successful. Tell you, I've been drinking. The most financially successful of the Bond films, maybe of all of them, because it made 141 million back in 1965, which is equivalent to nearly 1.5 billion today. So it's up there with Skyfall and all that, innit? For the box office. Right, so we'll get on with it. We're not going to watch the film because YouTube will go mental. I was tempted to do like we did with the Stone Tape and just do a watch party, but now we'll go through it. So we won't. We'll go through it in a series of stills, and I'll talk about it. I do have notes which I'll probably forget about, but anyway, we'll just get on with it, shall we? Right. So I'll pop myself down in the corner, and we shall begin. Oh, I've just eaten a big Wodger pork pie, and I'm full. I'm full. And some sausage rolls. I made like 1 million little party sausage rolls. And there's only me going to eat them because my son won't eat them. He won't eat that pork pie either. He's dead picky. Anyway, whatever. Right, so, I forgot to add it to stage. Right, off we go. The good old Leo the Lion from MGM. Right, off we go. Can't see my keyboard. There we go. Are we there? Yes, we're off. Right, off we go. Here we go. So we'll play this bit, because this is an important gun barrel shot. Because this is the first one of the series. It's only the 4th film in the series, but it's the first one where they actually get the actor to do the walking. So we'll see. Hang on, I've muted it. There we go. So we actually see Sean Connery there. In the previous films, it was Bob Simmons, the stunt coordinator, who did that bit. This is the first time we've seen the actor. And from this film onwards, it's always the actor that did the gun barrel. And there's one of them. Which one is it now? I think it's Die Another Day, directed by Lee Tamahori, where they show the bullet from Bond's gun coming down this gun barrel. So did he shoot into the other gun? Because it's supposed to be somebody pointing a gun at James Bond, but he shoots them first, which is why we get this blood coming down, don't we? I never understood that. Anyway, but we're not talking about Die Another Day. Right, off we go. And we begin at a funeral. Has James Bond died? No, it's somebody else. Oh, I've forgotten the name of Jacques Bouvier or something like that. Let's check the cast list. Oh dear. Where is he? Is it going to be here? Bob Simmons. Jacques Bouvard, that's it. Who is Spectre number 6. But supposedly dead. So here he is, we're at his funeral. There it is. And James Bond's here with a French friend. Because we're in France, by the way. We're in France. This is supposed to be his grieving widow. I suppose you've seen this. Everybody's seen all the James Bond films. Surely. Anyway, so off she goes. I don't know if it's... It looks like a woman, doesn't it? I don't know if it's... We find out later on, well, not later on, in a minute or two, that this isn't a woman. It's a man. It's a man. So it's very Austin Powers. But is that actually a woman? Looks very feminine features there, are there? Anyway, whatever. Right, so there he is. There's Sean Connery with his... It's French. Is French, but it actually looks. I was thinking, because the next James Bond film is the You Only Live Twice, where he goes to Japan, and I was thinking, hang on, is this one of the Japanese women from You Only Live Twice? But that's the next film. Oh dear, excuse me. But whatever. So here he is there watching along. There we go. Anything else our French station can do for Monsieur Bond? I'll let you know. Oh no, that was Roger Moore, wasn't it? Whatever. Anyways, watching as the grieving widow. I'm sure that is a woman, isn't it? That isn't Bob Simmons, the stunt coordinator, who it's going to be in a bit. That is definitely a woman. But as you see, she opens the car door for herself, which is a giveaway in 1965, apparently. Anyway, it's off they go. And James Bond's he must run, or there must be a tunnel or something, because he gets to where they're going before they do. They're driving off in cars. He says, I shall shed later, come on. So anyway, so they arrive at their French chateau. This bit filmed in France, obviously. Very Drax residence ish in it, I suppose. But I suppose once you've seen one French chateau, you've seen them all. Anyway, so here they come into the house. There's the grieving widow. She comes into this room, locks the door, and then we see somebody sitting in the chair, and it turns out to be James Bond. It's definitely a woman, that, isn't it? It's not Bob Simmons. Anyway, blonde hair. But look, turn around. I've come to pay my condolences, or whatever. There you go. I've come to offer my sincere condolences. But then he punches her. Hang on. Here we go. Here they do.
My dear Colonel.
And now it's become Bob Simmons, the stunt coordinator, as Jacques Bouvard. So they have a fight. There he goes. Look, there's Bob Simmons. Apparently, is it Bob Simmons? There's two stunt. I always get them mixed up. The later Bond films were like Pierce Brosnan, it was like Vic Armstrong that did that. But before, we like Roger Moore, and they had a couple of them, and I always get them mixed up. The stunt men, and they were little tiny men, but they were amazing stunt men. And one of them it might have been Bob Simmons, but it might be somebody else. Even with a stunt double for Richard Keel, who was like 7 foot tall. But you'd never know. That would inspire all of me. But anyway. He's not got ladylike legs, has he, as Bob Simmons? I mean, look at them, blooming number. Anyway, so they're fighting away. And that's not Sean Connery, is it? I want to see what happens here now. Oh, there we go. It's, goodness say, that's not, I'm going to see now. We're going to see who this is. That's not Sean Connery. Can't you do a tipple over, Sean? Bloody hell. Anyway, so they're fighting away, and then he throttles him with a poker. Here we go. Throttles him with a poker. I think in the original script, or maybe even in the book, I don't know. I've not read the book, obviously. I've not read any of the James Bond books. I've said before, I've got them somewhere on my old Kindle. I found one of them on an old computer drive, the Kindle file, for Casino Royale. But I'm sure I've got all the others on my old Kindle. You know, the old that you've got to use a torch to read. They don't light up. And I don't know where I've put the bugger. I've got loads of Star Trek books on there as well. I've got loads of books on there. I can't find it. Anyway, in the book, or in the original script, he was supposed to throttle Jacques Bouvard with his own bra. Which would have been funny, wouldn't it? A man being strangled by his own bra. Hoisted by his own bra, or whatever. But in this, he uses a poker. I don't know how he got his bra off. Maybe they couldn't work that out. So anyway, the henchmen come in, and he goes running for it, throws some lilies on him, and probably says something witty, and off they go. And he runs out, and obviously, he got there. Did he know where they were going? He must have known where Jacques Bouvard lived. He must have known, because they live in a big house. And he must have come here earlier, or had somebody come here, and just plant, here we go, a jetpack there, because he comes out, there we go, comes out in front of a green screen, never mind, there's a lot of that, maybe not a green screen, but a rear projection, whatever, and pops on his helmet and puts on his jetpack, and off he goes, there he goes, which is a real jetpack, or rocket pack, I don't know what they call it, I've got it in my notes. Not just a jetpack. Bond's jetpack was actually flown by engineer Bill Souter. He was one of only 2 people in the world qualified to fly it. There's a famous one of the Olympics or something like that where the jetpack man flew about in it. There were that on TV back in the day, weren't there? Anyway, so there he goes. Hang on. Where are we? Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. There we go. So they're shooting at him. As he goes, it can't fly for very far. I think it's like 30 seconds or something. 20 to 30 seconds of travel time you get. Anyway, so just enough for him to here he comes over the chateau, and oddly enough, really bad That's a rear projection and all that. This film won the Oscar. It'll be 1966, won't it, for best visual effects? But anyway, it mustn't have been a lot up against it. But weirdly, in 1979, because obviously technology had moved on, Moonraker, which is the most effects-heavy, probably, James Bond film, were nominated for best visual effects, but didn't win. And I don't know what did win, to be honest. In 1979, I'm trying to think. Oh no, it'll be 1980, won't it? So maybe The Black Hole or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to look now because I'm curious. 1980 Oscars best visual effects. Oh, Alien. Alien won for best visual effects. There we go, in the 1980 Oscars. Apologies if you just heard my stomach then going boo. Yeah, of course, Alien. Right, where were we? I'm getting off topic, aren't I? Right, so here he comes. He lands and he pops it in the boot. We see the old DB5 there from Goldfinger. No well-dressed man should be without one. And he pops it in the boot. And all the henchmen are coming and shooting at him. We know how bulletproof this is. If you've watched No Time to Die, it's actually a film I like. A lot of people don't like No Time to Die, but I think it's pretty good. Don't like the ending, obviously, but anywho. But he still feels the need to put up the shield. Because I thought it's all got bulletproof glass and everything, but never mind. And then he sprays them all down with water, all the henchmen. And then we go into the opening credits where Maurice Binder comes back. He designed the opening, I don't know if he designed the opening credits for Doctor No, because I thought that was like Saul Bass or something like that. But he executed it, he did it, I suppose you could say. He photographed the opening credits for Doctor No, but he didn't do From Russia with Love or Goldfinger. That was somebody else whose name I can't remember. Something to do with grass or green or something like Robert Green John or something like that. I've forgotten, I can't remember. Anyway, he's back, he's Maurice Binder, and then he would carry on, he would do all the James Bond films, all the way up to the one before Pierce Brosnan, so all the way up to License to Kill would be Maurice Binder. So here we go. And we get Tom Jones singing, let's have a little listen.
He always run
when others walk. Good old Tom Jones. This wasn't the original song, by the way, for the opening credits. It was supposed to be Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, sung by Dionne Warwick, I think, if I'm thinking right. Somebody else did. They got Shirley Bassey in to sing it. And she did a version of it, but then they went with Dionne Warwick. And then they thought, no, we've got to have the title, because Thunderball is not in the title, Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So they got John Barry and mates to write a song. And so they did, and they got Tom Jones in to sing it. And it's a damn good song, if you ask me. By the way, a thunderball, apparently, is like the mushroom clouds from a nuclear explosion. Because the plot of this film is about Spectre stealing nuclear bombs. Or atomic bombs, I think they're called. When did atomic bombs become nuclear bombs? I think I've asked that before, haven't I? Windgrace will know, but he's off doing Christmassy stuff, I imagine. Anyway, right, here we go in Ian Fleming's Thunderball. There's Claudine Auger, who was Miss France, and then became an actress. I imagine she's done loads of stuff, don't ask me what. And there's Desmond Llewellyn and the usual gang, Lois Maxwell, and obviously Bernard Lee is in it as M. Production designed by Ken Adams. He became Sir Ken Adams, didn't he? I always wonder what was his original name, because he's obviously not English. I'm gonna look up Ken Adam. Right, hang on, where are we? Production. Just bear with me. I'll just search for him. Bloody hell, it's better than Sir Ken Adam. He came from like Eastern Europe or somewhere, didn't he? Sir Ken Adam, German British movie production designer. Because when you hear him speak in interviews and stuff, you think he's not from round here. But anyway, so he was born in Berlin. When did he move? In 1921. Rum-ti-tum-ti-tum. Basically, they fled Nazi Germany. That's what they did. Because I think, are they Jewish? I think so. I don't know. I'm not sure. But, yes, they were Jewish. So they fled Nazi Germany before World War II to England. So right, and yeah, so obviously he became an English citizen, and he became Sir Ken Adam. Anywho, whatever. A bit of boobage there going on. Good old Maurice Binder. Right. So anyway, we'll get through this. By the way, underwater director, there we go, Riku Browning. You just make that out, can't you? Who was the original creature from the Black Lagoon. So there we go, bit of info there. And he would come back and do all the underwater sequences in Never Say Never Again. So there you go. What else? Anything else I can remember while we're looking at the writing? But there we go. Music by John Barry. Lyrics for Thunderball by Don Black. Sung by Tom Jones. There's a Martian back there. Based on the original story by Kevin McClory, Jack Whittingham and Ian Fleming. Which they sued him. Wonder how much they got. I don't know. But there you go. Produced by Kevin McClory. And I don't even know if the Saltzman and Broccoli even get a credit in the opening titles. I'm not sure. Directed by... I'm going to go back and see if we get an executively produced. It don't say, does it? Are they even further back? No, I don't think. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think Saltzman and Broccoli even get a credit in the opening titles, do they? Don't think they do. Maurice Binder there. John Barry. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, I don't think they do. Old Kevin McClory. They hated him, didn't they? They hated Kevin McClory. I bet they were glad when he popped his clogs. Anyway. And there we go. Directed by the late, great Terence Young. Right, so we begin in where... I was still in France, I think. I'm not entirely sure. There's is it a Citroen? I don't know. There's lots of French-looking cars, isn't there? Oh, yes, Paris, yeah. Because the Blackpool Tower in the background there. Right, so, and here's Adolfo Celli, who was an Italian actor, who also did things in World War II. But we won't go into that. Because I don't know what he did. Anyway, I was at the centre, the International Centre for the Assistance of Displaced People. That's my French knowledge going on there. Not that I can speak French. So this is obviously a cover operation for Spectre, pretending to be like a charity, helping people out. But you go in the back room, press a button, and you end up, there you go, in the villain's lair. Very... As I said, this is Austin Powers territory. Obviously, Austin Powers came later and spoofed this, but once you've seen Austin Powers, you can't watch these without thinking about it. And there's Ernst Stavro Blofeld with his cat in the back. There we go. Oh, pardon me. Who is voiced? I'll have to look it up because I can't really remember. If I can find it. It's here somewhere. I've seen it. Come on, where are you? Here we go. The body is Anthony Dawson, who I think played him in a previous Bond, but I don't know who we saw it did. We've seen him in one of the others Bond films. I can't remember which one. And voiced by Eric Pohlman, although some people say it's somebody else, but it says here Eric Pohlman. Not Max von Sydow. So there we go. By the way, Adolfo Celli plays Emilio Largo in this one. His voice was dubbed by Robert Rieti, or Rieti, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's spelled R-I-E-T-T-Y. Who did a lot of voiceover stuff. He also did the voice for Tiger Tanaka in You Only Live Twice, and you can tell And Claudine Auger were overdubbed by Nikki van der Zyl, who also, she's done loads of voiceovers in James Bond films, but most famously she did Ursula Andress in Doctor No. So again, there's very familiar voices, but with different faces in these films. Anywho, right, so they're having a status report of how they're going on. Number 11 status report, and so let's do the other ones. Blackmail of a Japanese agent, 40 million yen, and then another one with some French people, and then the consultation fee on the British train, the Great Train Robbery, which had happened not long before this film came out. $250,000 or pounds, the charge for their consultation. So Spectre were behind the Great Train Robbery. I mean, it wasn't. How much did they get away with? It wasn't that much, was it? The Great Train. I'm going to look that up now. Oh dear. Was like £3 million, something like that. So it might be Great Train Robbery. Ronnie Biggs and all them. The Great Train, 2.61 million. Yeah, so today it'd be like £65 million. So yeah, so it was quite a lot. A Royal Mail train in 1963 that happened. Ronnie Biggs went off to Brazil, didn't he? Anyway, right. And then there you go, consultation fee for the British train, £250,000. And then this fella says him and he's number 11, him and number 9, who looks very shifty. I suppose they all look shifty because they're all baddies, aren't they? Getting some money from somebody, I can't remember who. But number 1 isn't impressed, and he says it should be considerably more. So, we don't tolerate failure. When people fail, people die! And then so he electrocutes, here we go. The other fella, ha ha ha, because he accused him of embezzling money. So, he gets him. And does he go down into the ground? No, yes, he does. He goes down into the ground. There we go. I'm still alive down here. You can't not think of Austin Powers, can you? Anyway, look, he's nearly throwing up. He's thinking, I better pay back that money I've embezzled from Spectre. But luckily, number 9 got away. Number 11, got away with it. Number 9 got zapped. Look, his chair's come back up, all scorched. Anyway, so now we're going to learn about their most ambitious undertaking, where they're going to steal a British Vulcan bomber that's got 2 atomic bombs on. And his Largo, who is number 2. Who does number 2 work for? We did Austin Powers a while ago, didn't we? So here he is. And we learn that they've got a man who's going to steal the plane. They've surgically altered him to look like the actual pilot, and they're going to swap him over, and he's staying at a health club that just happens to be near the NATO base, and this is the fella that's doing it, Count Lippy, who's like in charge. He's not the fella, he's not the pilot, but he's in charge of the operation. So anyway, we're at this health club, and where James Bond just happens to be. He's not there, on the mission. He just happens to be at this health club. Apparently, it's in the book, is this? So I'm told that M went to this health club and felt a lot better after going. So he said to 007, maybe he said to all the 00s, I don't know. Apparently, there's nine 00s. Apparently, because we see him in this. And he told James Bond to go there, and apparently in the book James Bond really liked it, and he went again, but not for very long. Anyway, so he's there, getting healthy. He don't throw his wee over anybody in this one like he does in Never Say Never Again. I don't think he does. But anyway, so here he is. Obviously going to seduce her. That's Molly Peters as Patricia Fearing, a physiotherapist at the health clinic. It's voice dubbed by Barbara Jefford, and I have no idea why, because she's a lovely voice, because she's in the behind the scenes on the DVD and Blu-ray, in the all the James Bond, the classic James Bond films up to, like, I don't know, but up to like Pierce Brosnan's. They had these great documentaries on, the making of Thunderball, the making of The Spy Who Loved Me, etc. Narrated by Patrick McNee, and all these great little documentaries on, and interview cast and behind the scenes and all that. And she's got a lovely voice. I don't know why they didn't use her voice. But anyway, it happened a lot, didn't it? Maybe she didn't have the right voice. But anyway, so she's voiced by Barbara Jefford, whoever she is. Barbara Jefford, OBE, was a British actress. Oh, she's no longer with us. Yeah, anyway. Right, where were we? She's on about his bruise. He's got a big bruise on his shoulder. So how did you get that? Is that a poker in the hands of a widow? And it says, oh, she mustn't have liked you. It says, no, he didn't. Anyway, so off he goes. He's phoning through now. Oh, yes, because he sees on Count Lippy's arm. I forgot to mention that. There we go. You see it there. He sees this on Count Lippy's arm. He thinks it's something to do with the tongs. So his curiosity's piqued. There's like a tattoo in it. So he gets on the blower. There we go. Gets on the phone to Moneypenny, and she tells him you're off duty. So deal with it when you get back. So there's the lovely Lois Maxwell as Moneypenny. Does she ever have a first name in the books? Because she became Eve Moneypenny, didn't she, in the Daniel Craig films? Was she ever? Did she ever have a name in the original books? I don't know. Anyway, right. So he's seen something. What's he seen? He's seen somebody come out. I can't remember. I've only just watched this like an hour ago. There we go. He's Count Lippy leaving with somebody. Is that supposed to? That's not that. It's not her. Is it? Is that physiotherapist, or is it somebody else? I don't know. But anyway, they're going somewhere. So he's going to have a nosy round. There he is. I'm guessing this is Count Lippy's. It is actually, because he's got a brass nameplate. This must be an expensive place to go and stay at, because you go and you guess and you get a brass nameplate on your door. You don't just say, "Oh, you're in room 17." I know what bloody room I'm in. I want my name on the door. I'm paying you how many thousands of pounds a week or whatever. Anyway, yeah, so he gets in. Has a shufty round, sees somebody's coming, goes and hides. And here we see this fella come in, who is, I've forgotten. I'm bloody hopeless. He is not Francois. I know, Angelo Palazzi. There we go. He's Angelo Palazzi. Who is going to eat? This is the fella that's been surgically altered to look like the pilot of the Vulcan bomber. It's actually French. They're calling it a NATO. It's a NATO, but it's an RAF plane, isn't it? But it's a NATO bomber. So it's a French pilot called Francois Deval, who just happens to be Domino's brother, who is played by Claudine Auger. I'm pointing. I don't know why I'm pointing, but anyway. So he's coming in for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway. So he's got away with it. Off he goes. So he's back with Molly Peters again, and obviously he's going to seduce her in a minute. I was going to have a go. And she says, right. So he's trying to kiss her because it's James Bond. And she says, right, we'll have enough of that. I'm going to strap you to this machine. So he straps him to this machine, and it sets him off. It's a back stretcher or something, which seems like one of them joke things that were in like the Beano or something like that, where you could send off and get a thing to make it taller. But anyway, off he goes. There it goes. Look. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but some bad guy's gonna come along. I think it's what's his face, the fella in the bandages. I think I could be wrong. By the way, that clock apparently is the same clock that's on Goldfinger's plane. Apparently, I've just read that. I don't know if it's true. I haven't checked, but apparently it is. So anyway, so he's off there. She says, "I'll see you in 15 minutes." But meanwhile, a hand appears. "Nice to have met you, Mr. Bond." Maybe it's Count Lippy. I don't know. Oh yes, it is, because he's got the thing on his hand. So Count Lippy's come back, and he sets it on maximum or whatever. So off he goes. Well, it's Bond, isn't it? He should love doing that. He does it all the time, doesn't he? But anyway, so he's getting a good workout, and does he pass out or whatever? I don't know, but somebody comes and saves him. There she comes and saves him. Does the physiotherapist, whose name I've forgotten? I just keep calling her Molly Peters because that's an easy name to remember. Patricia Fearing. She's come and saved him. Kind of like in, this is kind of like the scene in Moonraker, isn't it? Actually, there are some Moonraker-esque parts in this film. Well, this is like the, what they call it, centrifuge scene in Moonraker. See, I'm doing that because he spins around very fast, doesn't he? This is like that scene, isn't it? Where he nearly passes out in that, but he does pass out in this, and she comes and gets him out of the thing, and then later on at the end of the film there's a big battle under the sea with lots of divers, scuba divers and stuff, it is very reminiscent of the space battle scene in Moonraker. There's nothing original under the sun, is there? Anyway, so I must be 6 inches tall. Anyway, right, so he's going to go in the steam room, but he says somebody could get into trouble for this. And she says, "Don't tell me boss, he'll fire me." And says, "Well, my silence could have a price." So he's going to shag her. That's what he's going to do. And we see her bottom briefly, which is apparently the first nudity in a James Bond film. He just takes her clothes off, and there we go. Oh, a quick peek of her bottom against the glass. Cheeky. Anyway. Well, they've got wipes in this. I think this might be the first time in the Bond film that they've been used. I could be wrong. Anyway, the irrigation room. Ooh. Anyway, so off he goes. And there's Count Lippy in his, whatever these are called, steam bath. I don't know. But he traps him in it. Puts it on full power. There we go, using a broom handle, and traps him in the steam thing. And it don't kill him. He gets out, obviously, but he's had a modicum of revenge. Then he's gone back to Patricia, and now he's rubbing her back with a mink glove, because it's the 60s, and you could do stuff like that. Supposed to, as what reduces the tensions. So he's having fun there. Meanwhile, somebody's here in the phone box. Here we go. It's Count Lippy. He's phoning up saying, the operation's going swimmingly and all that stuff, and he's looking a bit pink, isn't he? After his experience in the steam bath. But he's phoning up. That's what it is. Phoning up Fiona Volpe. There we go. And it's obviously a signal that the operation is proceeding. There we go. Asking for Mr. Angelo. She says, "You've got the wrong number." By the way, she's astonishingly gorgeous. Is Luciana Paluzzi. I've got her autograph, but I've never met her. I won it in the auction, but never mind. So she says, "Sorry, you've got the wrong number," because she's here with, excuse me, Francois Derval, who was the pilot. She's obviously, she's undercover for the bad guys, pretending to be his assistant. Then he gets another phone. Then the phone rings again. It's actually for him, I think. So he's getting ready to go to work to fly the Vulcan bomber. But anyway, so off he goes. When he opens the door, they knock on the door. Says, "Right, I'm coming." He goes, and thinks it's a car that's come for him. And he opens the door. Says ciao, and he sees himself. Quelle surprise! And sees himself, and then this bit always gets me. They've got like a poison vapor gun or something, which is deadly poison. But all they've got to protect themselves are handkerchiefs and cloth. They don't put gas masks on, and it's deadly poison. Look, look, he just covers his mouth after the fact, and he drops dead to the almost instantly. There you go, he's dead. Look, and she gets down, and she's there with look, covering her face with her dress. Good job she wasn't nude, didn't it? But it's obviously, and they've got gas masks. It If he said deadly poison, I'd be thinking, blooming hummer. I'm not taking any chances. I'm not using a blooming handkerchief. See, Count Lippy's here now with his handkerchief to fend off the deadly gas. Anyway, whatever. There you go. He's dead, all right, she says. Anyway, all right. So she's handing over his equipment. The new Francois Deval, who is Mr. Angelo, obviously. Ow, got an itch. Giving him a gas mask. It's not a gas, it's a breathing thing for his flight, because he's going to poison the rest of the crew and steal the plane. There you go with that. It's called something, I forgot. Gamma gas. Is that a thing? Don't know. Instantaneous. It's what they've just used. So, but it's not deadly if you've got a hanky to cover your mouth and nose with. Anyway, he says they pay him his money. He says $100,000. He says it's not enough. It's what they agreed on, but he says it's not enough because he's just spent 2 years of his life having his face changed and learning all the ways of flying a Vulcan bomber and about about Francois Deval and all that. But anyway, so he says I want $250,000, and she says okay. Count this as a down payment. I will get in touch with number 1 or number 2 or whatever. So she says, okay. There we go. God, she's lovely. Anyway, I'm smitten. They're giving him the real Francois Deval's watch and his dog tags. So we'll see them again later. So off he goes. Right, so off he goes. So they know they've got work to do now. They've got to put the bandages on Francois Deval, and he's going to be, Angelo, whatever he's called, Mr. Angelo, I'll call him. And they're going to take him back to the health clinic. He was supposed to be in there because he was recovering from a car accident. That's what he was there for. Anywho, right, so he's off to the base, getting ready to fly the Vulcan bomber, good old British plane. I've seen them in real life at air shows and stuff. They're really loud, but the cool planes, Delta Wing bombers. There they go. If Quest were here, he'd be telling us all about them, what engines they've got and all that stuff. Anyway, meanwhile, he's still at it with his mink glove. And she's complaining because remember this health spa is right next to the NATO base, so they can hear all the planes taking off. And she's saying, "Oh, that noise from the planes." And so he's going to have a look out. Says, "I will close the window." He says, "I shall close the window." But while he looks out the window to close it, he sees this ambulance arrive, and out bring somebody under a red blanket, because there, bring somebody out. So he's curious. His curiosity's piqued because he sees Count Lippy because he knows him. So he says, "I'm just going for some exercise." So he follows them and seeing what they're up to, and he finds the body of Angelo, but it's not of Francois Deval. It takes all the Count Lippy's there, ready to shoot him, and so we see that Deval's dead, but we keep seeing a shadow here, and somebody's going to try and get him through the window. We'll see a shadow there of a fella out there with a knife, but he's there with a gun, with a silencer. So why don't you just shoot him? Bang, done. Don't know. But he gets this fella, pulls him through the plate glass window, and then wraps the telephone cord round his neck. Apparently the stuntman came to work. I can't remember the name of the stuntman, but it's in the commentary. And he said, Bob Simmons says, right, we're gonna put your head through a plate glass window. You might have to do it 6 times, but it's your job. Get it done. And he says, no, boss, we'll do it once, and that'll be enough. So, and apparently they did it once, and it were enough. So there you go. So he deals with him, and Count Lippy doesn't shoot him. He just lets him go, and then James Bond sets off the fire alarm. and everybody's panicking. And I'm guessing now he takes Patricia back to his boudoir for more sex, because it's James Bond. Meanwhile, the plane's on its way to wherever. I don't know where it's supposed to be going, but and nobody seems to know. I know it's 1965, but surely they know where their planes are. But anyway, they're somewhere. I'm presuming they're somewhere out over the Atlantic. I don't know how far, but they're out there somewhere. And there's Francois in the back. I'm guessing he's like an observer or something on this mission, because they had 5 crew. They had 3 in the back and 2 up front. But he makes 6, doesn't he? But anyway, so the co-pilot says, "Why don't you come up in the co-pilot's chair? It's a better view." So it's good job, good job that happened, didn't it? How would he do his mission if he didn't? Maybe he'd have asked. Maybe he said, "Do you mind if I sit in the co-pilot's chair?" But anyway, so he goes and sits in there, and off they go. Right, so he's going to do his bad stuff now. He's going to plug in his gamma gas and isolate his own breathing supply, oxygen supply. He depressurises the plane, puts the gamma gas in. They all die instantly, like that. And then he flies the plane all the way to the Caribbean, to Nassau in the Bahamas. So that's a long way, isn't it? I don't know the range of a Vulcan bomber. Would it have made it? I imagine so. Let's see. I mean, it might have been pushing it, wouldn't it? Vulcan bomber range. I don't want it in kilometres. 2,300 miles. There we go. So it probably wouldn't have made it without refuelling, to be honest, would it? From the UK to the Bahamas, which is, 3,000 miles ish. I don't know. Let's see. UK to Bahamas distance. 4,340 miles. There we go. So no, it wouldn't have made it, would it? It's only a film. Never mind. Or maybe they've refueled in midair along the way. Don't know. Anyway. So he's flying it now, and nobody's any the wiser, apparently. Nobody's on the radio saying, "Where are you going? You're off our scopes," etc. Who knows? But he's going. Thank you, Justin. $5 super chat. Merry Christmas to you, Justin. I hope you've had a great day and you've overeaten. What were you having? You were having prime rib, weren't you? I hope you've enjoyed your prime rib, if you've had it, because I remember it's only. I don't know what time it is there. What time is it here? My watch won't come on. About 10 o'clock, isn't it? 21:50, yeah. So it's 9:50 here, so I'm not sure where you are in America, to be honest, but you're 5-6 hours behind, is that? Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Merry Christmas to you too. Anyway, right, so off he goes. He's flying the plane to the Bahamas, to Mike Bravo X-Ray 79 or whatever. I don't know. So off he goes. Anyway, they've lost the plane. Oh, bally bad show and all that. Oh, it's a sticky wicket, etc. Because they're all being frightfully British. They've got 2 atomic weapons, MOS type, whatever that means. It's 4:50 p.m. Eating our dinner. Had mine earlier on. Had some turkey and sprouts and peas and carrots and roast potatoes and some sausage meat. And what else did they have? Stuffing, obviously. Sage and onion stuffing. What else did they have? Seasoned pudding, which is like Yorkshire pudding. It's Yorkshire pudding mix. But you put in, I learned this from my stepdad, my late stepdad. You put in some of the stuffing mix in with the Yorkshire pudding mix. So they don't rise up, but still very nice. And gravy. Is that it? Pigs in blankets. That's all I can think of. Anyway, it was very nice, and I was pogged, as they say. Where were we? Oh, aye, MOS tab. I don't know what that means, but so I've got two bombs, not missiles, 2 atomic bombs. Anyway, so they've got to try and find out where it's gone down. Prime rib, ham, Yorkshire puddings, taters and greens. Lovely, 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 lovely. I'm not a big fan of, ribs though, I must admit. I find them messy. But anyway. Anywho, I've got a ham. Well, a gammon joint, but still in the freezer. I haven't got that out. Might do that for New Year. Where are we now? Right, so it's going to land here near this boat. This is the Disco Volante, which is Largo's boat, the main bad guy. It's his yacht, the Disco Volante, which means the flying saucer. So there we go. Don't know why they called it that. They just did. And it's designed by Ken Adam. The front part is a... I forgot to call them. I can't remember what they call them. The aquafoil, something like that. When it rises up on them stilt things. It's one of them. And the back part is like a catamaran. Catamaran, not meringue. But yeah, the front part is a boat that the bought, and then I think they modified another one and stuck them together. And it worked quite well. It cost them a lot of money though, and I think it's in my notes. Let me see. There we go. Largo's 2-section yacht, the Disco Volante, or flying saucer, was adapted from a hydrofoil. That's it. Is that what I just said? Whatever. Hydrofoil vessel called the Flying Fish. It cost $500,000 to acquire from Puerto Rico and transfer to Miami for refitting and refurbishment. Can't speak. It was given a cocoon shell, which was 50 feet long and could be separated from the main boat, as seen in the movie's finale. Spoilers. Anywho, let's make sure everything's going swimmingly. Yeah, stream is healthy, it says. Right. So the Vulcan bomber's going to land in the sea coming up. There's Largo. This is, I don't know who he is. Is some bloke to do with, is an expert in atomic bombs, but he's kind of there under duress. They're threatening him. So he's not really a baddie, becomes a goodie at the end. But I don't know his name. See if it says here. We don't see a whole lot of him. Oh dear. Excuse me. Oh. I don't know his name. Don't care. Be here somewhere. Oh, here he is. He is Kutz, Ladislav Kutz, a nuclear physicist. He aids Largo with the captured bombs, but when Largo disregards the authorities firing on them, he pities and rescues Domino, played by George Pravda. Right, that's him. As I said, he's not super important. He's just there because they needed somebody to get Domino out at the end. Anyway, so here they are. They put the lights on under the sea, so he knows where to set the plane down. He's going to land it in the ocean. There we go. This one best Academy Award for best visual effects. John Steers, by the way, is the special effects supervisor in this. And then I assume visual effects supervisor, because they kind of went hand in hand in the early days before digital technology came along. Anyway, so here he goes. He's going to belly flop it into the sea, but it's not landing. There we go. Obviously that's a model, I presume in a tank, but they did actually build a full-size Vulcan bomber mock-up that they did sink to the bottom of the ocean. And I'm not sure if we see that here when it starts sinking. Right, so it comes to a halt, and he opens up the landing gear, but presumably to let the plane fill up with water, and it sinks down to the bottom gently. And I don't know if this is a little model. It looks like one, doesn't it? Or if it's the actual full-size one. But anyway, they do end up... I don't know. Is it... It might be the full-size one that they did actually sink, because the little tiny bubbles coming out of it, weren't there? And bubbles and stuff and water. It's hard to miniaturise, isn't it? It's impossible. Anyway, so they did build full-size mock-up of the Vulcan bomber. And when they're done with it, they blew it up so that no other film could use it. And it's still there, apparently. It's like a reef now in the Bahamas somewhere. Right, so anyway, so divers are going to go down. Well, actually, just one. It's Largo himself's going down, and in the plane, I forgot his name already. Bloody hopeless that. Me and names. Who is he? Where is he? I can't find him now. Mr. Angelo, isn't he? Yes, Mr. Angelo. There we go. He blows the canopy, but he can't get out for some reason. He's stuck. I don't know if this is deliberate, if they rigged his harness, did Spectre, so he couldn't get out. I don't know, but he's struggling. He can't get out. And Largo comes along and says, "Oh, don't worry, I'll cut you out." He doesn't say that because he's underwater, obviously, but he gets his knife out. But he cuts Angelo's air hose, so he drowns. So he's there, obviously, because he can't get out. So he's killed Angelo. So he doesn't have to pay him. He don't get the $100,000 envelope back, but obviously he doesn't have to pay him the $250,000 now. And he gets the in this white box is the launch codes or whatever, the bomb, the codes for the bomb to activate the bombs. In that white box. Because it said earlier on, as usual, the codes are in the white box. So, anyway, right, so here they go. A thing arrives. Hang on. The launch this out of the. It's got like a moon pool or whatever you call it under the Disco Volante, and they launch this out of it. And for some reason, right. When they set off, if you notice, when they set off, two of the propellers come on, but one of them don't. Is it going to show it? Probably won't show it now. I've said that. So that's working now. On the previous, there we go. The previous shot there. Look, the right-hand one, the starboard one, isn't working for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, off it goes, doing its sound. I've got to do the sound effect. Doing that sound effect. So off they go. They're going to use that to transport the bombs. There they are. Warning. What does it say? I can't read it. We see it closer up in a minute. So here they come. See if I can read the writing. No, never mind. So they undo the bombs, pop them on that thing, and take them back to the Disco Volante. And then some other divers come along. By the way, a quarter of this film, 25% of this film, is under the sea. Is undersea footage, which is a lot, isn't it? But anyway, they come along and they cover it up with some camouflage netting, so it can't be seen from above, theoretically. There we go. So all hidden away, and fastened down with tent pegs or whatever. And by the way, it is genuinely shark-infested waters. Because when they were filming it for the plane crash and all that, which were actually filmed in the Bahamas, they built some tower or something with a line. So they must have, hung the plane from a line as it were coming down into the water. But they couldn't do it because there were too many sharks in the water. So they had to wait until that low tide, and the tide went out and the water was a lot lower and the sharks buggered off out to sea to sort all that out. Anyway, right, so they've got the bombs now. This fella comes in, there we go, to deal with them. And now they're going to blackmail the Western governments. Anyway, they're heading back. Here we are. I also learned that Count Lippy has failed in some way or another, maybe to stop Mr. Bond, I don't know. But obviously he's going to get done in now. Send a message to the execution branch to deal with Count Lippy. Right, so James is heading back to work and saying goodbye to Patricia. And there's Count Lippy. He's going to follow him. Little does Count Lippy know, Count Lippy's going to try and kill Bond now. But little does he know who was shooting at him. But little does he know there's somebody on a motorbike behind with some sort of rocket thing on the bike. I'm going to show it. Fire the bloody thing then. Oh, for Pete's sake. So here, this is Fiona, by the way. I don't think that is, but there we go. Fires a rocket that sometimes goes everywhere except at the car, but it obviously hits the car, blows the car up. Bob Simmons is driving this car, and that's apparently they're going quite fast. And it careens out of control on fire, and it skids off the road, and everybody thought Bob Simmons had died because it crashes and blows up as it's supposed to do, and nobody saw Bob get out, and they're all looking round saying no, and Terence Young came running, where's Bob? Oh, bloody hell, crikey, I'll never financially recover from this. And then Bob walked up behind him and says, well, that all right, Chief? And they're like, oh, Bob, you bugger. But yeah, it did just make it out. There's behind the scenes footage where it shows him jumping out. He actually did catch on fire. But he rolled about in the grass and he was fine. And here comes we see this rider. It's obviously a bloke, isn't it? You can tell that's a fella. But takes her helmet off and all her hair comes flowing out. There it comes. And apparently there must have been some publicity footage or something like that, or shots of her on a motorbike, and that's how her husband fell in love with her. Her future husband saw her in publicity shots for this film. I imagine he's super rich because, whatever. But and they got married. Anyway, right, so Bond's arrived at Universal Exports, which is the cover. Used to be the cover, didn't it, for MI5, MI6, and we see that they've moved the hat stand, because he used to come in and throw his hat onto the hat stand, and they moved it because he looks, oh, they put it there. And anyway, his hat disappears, and I don't know why, and he does mention it. Oh, excuse me. Right, so M's not in his office, he's in the conference room. Something big. I don't know do we ever see the conference room again at MI6? I don't know. Or Universal Exports. But here we are. It's massive. Obviously it's in Whitehall, in it somewhere. I don't know. But here we see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9 double O's. And there's the 7th one, because James Bond hadn't arrived yet. Apparently 003 is a woman. I never noticed, but can't really tell from here, is it? But apparently that's a woman. The only time they've had a 00 agent who's a woman until No Time to Die. But anyway, there's M. Good old Bernard Lee as M. People think that's John Le Mesurier, but it ain't. It's somebody else who I don't know. That is, I know him. Obviously I've got to look him up because I'm useless. It's Keniston, played by Reginald Beckwith. Who I know from one of my favourite films of all time, Night of the Demon. He plays the spiritual medium in Night of the Demon, and he's the one that says, "It's in the trees, it's coming." Him. He died actually before this film came out. He died in June 1965, and this film wasn't released until December 1965. Trivia: 1965, I think maybe was the only year that in North America at least, that 2 James Bond films came out, because Goldfinger was released in North America in January 1965, and then this came out in December 1965. So quick turnaround on these films, wasn't there? And they're amazing films. You won't see that today, would you? Anyway, so they're all, he's some minister or something, and there's another minister, and he's obviously from the Air Force or whatever. I'll look him up. I have seen him somewhere. I've no idea. But it's not John Le Mesurier. I don't know why people think it is, because it looks nothing like him. But anyway, right, so they castigate Bond because he's late. Now that we're all here, we can carry on. I'm going to see if we get a view of 003. Right, so we can open their folders, and It's where they're going to the ransom demand from Spectre. My dear Prime Minister, pay us £100 million. He tells them that they've got the bombs from that Vulcan bomber, and they want £100 million in uncut diamonds or whatever, equivalent to like $280 million, or they'll blow something up. Right, so they go £100 million sterling. We shall destroy a city in England, and they've got until 6 p.m. tomorrow. And when Grace is here, Merry Christmas, TOYG house. What the hell was that? Hello? That's just weird. Something weird just happened. I'm just rumbling. Just bear with me. I'm just got to go check something out. Seriously. I'm back. That was weird. Weird rumbling. Told you that was my stomach after my meal. Yeah, we just from over there, like from the front door, that was weird rumbling. I thought somebody maybe were trying the door, but I've got cameras and stuff all around the house, and nothing was tripped. But anyway, where were we? I forgot where we were now. What were we talking about? Can't remember. Oh, yes, they want diamonds, or they're going to blow up somewhere in England. So Bob's not going to tell anybody about it. They've got to try and find it. Then this is where they're showing where it could have gone. That's the range of it. All right. So, hang on. Where are we? It's Edward Underdown as Air Vice Marshal. There we go. That's it. It's a wheeze. So that's the range. Obviously, as before Windgrace got here, we found out the range isn't that. But never mind. It's obviously not the range, is it? Because it set off from England, so the range should be over here somewhere, shouldn't it? It didn't set off from the centre of that circle, somewhere there, isn't it? Did it set off from the Azores? Obviously not. Anywho, but obviously it just made it to the Bahamas, but they don't know that. So they're all sending all the 00 agents off to the various places, and obviously James Bond gets sent to the right one. So anyway. Alright, are we getting a look at the other agents? Let's have a look, see if we can see any of the other agents. I don't think we do, to be honest. As I said, 003 apparently is a woman. Oh, there we go. The Majesty's Secret Service not to be opened until officially authorised. Thunderball! That's the name of the film. It's not showing, is it? Never mind. So, there we go. He's looking at the stuff. And he'll get the clues, and he's off to, he's heading out to Nassau. Oh, and he's saying, you're supposed to go somewhere. Does he tell him where? I've forgotten. There we go. He's off to Canada. He says, no, I've got to go to Nassau, because it's lovely and warm there, and exotic. But, so, he's telling him, he saw this man at Shrublands and all that stuff, so he's saying, okay, then, you can go to Nassau. So off he goes. You've only got 4 days, 007. Don't spend your time sitting around. Thank you, sir. So off he goes. And then we find his hat's gone. He says, I used to have a hat over there. Oh, right. She calls calls him the old man, and he catches her. So she probably gets a good spanking. Look, his hat's gone, and he does mention it. Anyway. There we go. I think I had a hat when I came in, but it's not there anymore. I wonder where it's gone. Don't know. Maybe one of the 00s nicked it. Anyway, so off he goes, and there we are in the Bahamas. There they are, and this is where Claudine Augur's swimming with a turtle. And James Bond meets her. Oh, and he says, how will you know? How will you recognise her? He says, easy. She's got 2 moles on her left thigh. Not that we ever see him, but I'm sure he will. Anyway, so he sees her, and she gets her foot stuck. So I reckon he were in on it with this. Is this a giant clam or something that's got her? I don't know, but she just happens to get her foot stuck, and he goes and helps her, and they swim up, and this is how they get introduced, and so they're introduced, and so here he is with Martine Bezic, who plays Paula. Who's another agent working with him from, I don't know, Station N or whatever in Nassau. And they're pretending that their boat's broken down. So it's, can you give me a lift? So she says, okay. And off he goes. Meanwhile, this fella's watching. This is Quist, who's one of the bad guys. He's watching them come back to shore. Is this the thing that happens on beaches? I don't know. Is this what happens, on the south coast when all the dinghies come in with all the illegal aliens? Because the boat comes in, this fella comes running from nowhere with his blue shorts on, just grabs the boat and just basically takes it off their hands. Maybe she rented it off him. I don't know. But anyway, he just grabs the boat. Look, they just jump out and walk off, and he turns it round and. I don't know. Maybe he's the owner of the boat. She rented it off him. I don't know. It don't tell us. Anyway, off they go in here, and we see somebody sitting there with sunglasses on, smoking a cigarette. But Quist is following him. We learn later that this is Felix Leiter, the latest incarnation of Felix Leiter, not Jack Lord, or I can't remember who played him in any of the others. What are he in? Oh yeah, they were in Goldfinger, weren't they? Played by somebody else. Sis, something or other. I forgot his name. Anyway, but this is Rick Van Nutter or Nutter as Felix Leiter, who signed a contract to play him in the next 3 films, but he wasn't in the next 3 films. So I hope he got paid well for them 3 films he were never in. Because I don't think Felix Leiter were in until Diamonds Are Forever, I think. Yeah. I think that was the next one he appeared in. Anywho, good form on that dive. Right, so they're sitting here, eating something. Conch chowder they're having, which apparently is an aphrodisiac. I don't know. I wouldn't even know. I don't even know what a chowder is. I never think of chowder. I just think of The Simpsons and is it the mayor? It was chowder. Was it him? I can't remember. Anyway, so she's got to go. She sees the Disco Volante arrive. He says, "I've got to go. My guardian's back on his yacht." He says, "Oh, I'd like to meet your guardian." So anyway, so he's going to meet them later. So here he is at the casino. I think they've gone to the casino in Nassau. So he's got his chips, his 500 quid's worth of chips, and they're going to go and play Baccarat or whatever. I don't know. I'm rubbish at card games. I can play Snap, and that's about it. So here he is. There's Mr. Vargas, who's another henchman. Go get a chowder. I don't know what it is. Oh dear. Sorry, I was just thinking of Ace Ventura. New England clam chowder. Is it the red or the white? Damn, I can never remember. Anyway, so he's going to play cards against Largo and win, obviously. But apparently this game they're playing, which I think is Baccarat, I'm not sure, whatever. Is just there's no skill in it. It's just the luck of the draw. So he's not winning by his own skill. He's just lucky, which I suppose James Bond is, isn't he? Anyway, but there goes your Spectre against mine, because we see he's got a Spectre ring. Is it going to show us? because he looks down and he sees his ring on his finger. There we go. He's got the Spectre symbol, the octopus, Spectre octopus, on his thing. Anyway, I think one of these women, but I'm not sure which one. It might be her. I don't know. I could be wrong. Or it might be somebody later on. I don't know. But one of these women in this casino is the owner of, or the wife of the owner of the place where Largo, Palmyra, where his base is, his estate. And apparently she's in another one of the Daniel Craig films as well, doing a similar thing. But I don't know which one it is, I don't know. But they mentioned it in the commentary on the Blu-ray. Anyway, just as an aside. Anyway, there you see, the unbeatable. So he's winning, and then she comes along as Domino and said, "You promised to buy me a drink." So he says, "Oh, maybe I could buy the lady a drink." So he says, "Okay then." So off he goes to buy her a drink. And apparently, in this film, the only time she smiles is when she's with James Bond. She never smiles when she's with Largo. The only time she smiles is when she's with James Bond. Because she loves him, I imagine. Anyway, so they're having a little dancey. He's trying to get information about Largo. Because, suspects he's a baddie. Because he looks like one, because he's got an eye patch. Anyway, so off they go. And, they said, see you later, and all that stuff. Right, so goes back to his room. He goes into room 306. I don't know, he checked another room for some reason, I think. I don't know why, but anyway. And he hears a noise, I think, and there we go. There's a man in there. Oh, yes, he hears a noise. He knows there's somebody in the bathroom, I think. He hears a noise. So he knows somebody's in there. And this bit doesn't make any sense. And then there's a knock on his other door. Apparently he's got two doors, I don't know, but anyway. And it's Felix there, look. He says, "Well, hello, 00." And then he punches him in the stomach. He says, "You're about to say 007. So I thought, right, okay. So, but he shushes him. And then he gets this fella. There we go. And don't kill him. And says, "You haven't killed him, so you know me better than that. There you go, Shiner. Go back to your friends and report." So, why did he punch him in the stomach? Because he were about to say 007. Because he said, "You were about to say 007. Then he's obviously heard that. So he's going to go back and say, "It's 007 from British Secret Service." But anyway, whatever. He even gives him his gun back. I think he even mentions that it's from the CIA. So he just told him everything. Anyway, he goes back. Obviously gone there to kill James Bond on the orders of Largo, and he's failed, so he's going to die, because he's got some sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads, or he wishes he had. But anyway. So he's going to say, "I didn't kill him, but, he hit me." So he has him thrown into the pool. Apparently, this stuntman who did this got a $450 bonus for jumping in with sharks. Because the sharks get him, and then it turns to red because it's blood. And it just reminded me of Snow Beast. Remember that film with, I can't remember who were in it, but I watched it the other day. Snow Beast from 1977. Terrible film. Whenever the Snow Beast got somebody, the screen just went to red, and just reminded me of that. Oh God, I wish I could remember who were in it. Some famous actors, and I'm blanking. I can see him in my head, but anyway. Right, so James was off to the meeting, off to the goodies hideout. Where I think Q arrives any minute now. Here he is. Here's Q. Desmond Llewellyn is Q with some gadgets there, because we've got a Geiger counter watch to help him find the atomic bombs. Desmond Llewellyn said this scene was cut down. They cut it on a critical point for him, because James Bond's messing about as usual and flicking switches and messing with the gadgets, and he's always telling him off. You know, saying, "Stop doing that, 007. Pay attention, 007." And then he said, James Bond, 007 just like saunters off. And he calls him back, berates him and calls him back. And James Bond meekly comes back, after getting the telling off from Major Boothroyd. But they cut that bit out. And they were a bit miffed about that with Desmond Llewellyn. But anyway. Is a camera that can take pictures in darkness with infrared film underwater. That's what that is. And a miniature pistol. What else does he get? Which fights a bright red flare, distress signal, which he does use. He uses all this equipment. And there we go. And he gets a little tablet for a homing device. In a minute. It says, now then, in this film they keep calling this a rebreather, and people keep saying, it's not a rebreather. It isn't anyway, because it doesn't work, but it's just a prop. But it doesn't say that in the film. It says, if a rebreather isn't available, you can use this device. Which it puts in, which is actually 2 CO2 canisters, like welded together with a little attachment, and it doesn't work, But apparently, I don't know, the US Navy or something got in touch with Eon Productions and asked them, how did they get this device? And they said, it doesn't work. How did they get it to work? And said, well, they just hold their breath underwater. Anyway, why says it? Where is it? I like this line. It closes to a convenient pocket size. That's assuming one has a convenient pocket. And then finally, recently developed a harmless radioactive device which allows him to be tracked. Sends out a homing signal to a special receiver. And I'm sure this line is changed because it doesn't seem to make sense. He says, what am I supposed to do with this? And does he say it? Does he turn to camera and say, or is it ADR'd? We'll find out. He says, what am I supposed to do with this?
Swallow it.
Oh, he does, yeah. He does say it to camera. But then he goes,
Now?
And I was thinking, was it supposed to be a suppository or something like that? I was supposed to say, you shove it up your bum. Don't know. But no, he don't swallow it now. He swallows it later. Anyway, meanwhile, in front of a blue screen or whatever, reprojection, they're going to check out the Disco Volante. So they're scoping it out now, but they're going to have a swim about underneath. And they said, "We'll use this catamaran here, as a meeting place." Meanwhile, they're all getting ready in London to sort the diamonds out. And they're getting instructions from Blofeld where to drop the diamonds. It gives them coordinates and stuff, which is where he's going to point to in a minute. Whatever. And where they can be recovered. And then once we have checked that the diamonds are real, we will tell you where the bombs are. Anyway, meanwhile, 007's in Nassau and things are heating up over there. Right, so got 55 hours, ticking clock. Right, so he's going to go check out the Disco Volante with his snazzy camera that he's just got off cue. He's not detecting any radiation on his Geiger counter watch, but he takes some photos, and but then he gets spotted, and he has a fight with a diver, and sorts him out. Apparently that kills them instantly. They do that a lot in this film. Cut the pipe, and they just go, and they're not a problem again. But he's watching them on the closed circuit television, taking pictures. Look, so they're chucking grenades at him. Ooh, and then they send out. Yeah, they'll go and follow him in a boat. There they are, and they're easily bamboozled. They see, look, hey, there's something there, and they go after him, and he takes off his scuba gear and his mask, and it floats to the surface, and he picks it up, and he says, "Oh, we must have run him over and hit him with the propeller. Let's go back and tell Largo. Not let's make sure and find the body, because they don't tolerate failure. No, we'll just go back and tell." And obviously he's fine, and off he goes. And he takes off his scuba gear, and obviously it's perfectly dry now. And he just waves down the next passing car, which just happens to be Fiona Volpe. There she is. So, "Can I have a lift into town?" "Sure." And I don't know how she can get so fast. I don't know how big the Bahamas are, but I don't know. Can you drive this fast there? Could you get across the island in like 10 minutes? I don't know. But she's driving really fast. He says you should put on your safety belt, and he keeps looking at the speedo there because she's driving faster and faster. And anyway, he notices she's got the same ring as what's his face, Largo. Anyway, so we see that she's a bit mental because she likes driving fast. And then they get to the hotel. She says, "This is where I stop." And he says, "Oh, it just happens to be my hotel too." What a coincidence! So obviously they're going to be at it later on, aren't they? Not just yet, but later. So they've now met. Anyway, so they've taken the photos, and he says the hulls can open up or whatever on the Disco Volante. So we're going to go and try and look for the plane now. They know it's round there somewhere. There were no sign of the bombs, so they're looking for the plane. So they're in a helicopter. Obviously not there, but they use this whenever they filmed them in the helicopter. It was just on a landing pad or whatever, but they needed a shot of them going the other way, pointing the other way, so they just reversed it. So if later on in a few minutes you'll see that Sean Connery's parting flips to the other side in a bit, because they're having a look round, they can't find it, but they do find it eventually. Meanwhile, they're doing some what do you call it? Target shooting, skeet shooting, or whatever they call it. Where they fire the things. Pull that. Where they do that. She's got a fag in her gob. Oh, I can't say that, can I? Got a cigarette in her gob. It means a different thing. Anyway, he's saying, James Bond should be killed, and she's saying no, because if you killed him, then British intelligence would know that the bombs are here. Said, but we will deal with him when we need to. When the time is right, he'll be killed. And anyway, here we go. There we go. So they're going the other way now. Look, and now his parting swapped over to the other side because they just reversed the film. The wonders of filmmaking. Anyway, right. So. I haven't found it yet. I thought they found the plane here. It must be later on. They must go out in the helicopter again. But they're scoping out Palmyra. So here he is. So he's got he's had an invitation to come. So they know he's coming. So he's introduced to Mr. Vargas and this other fella, and so he's going to do a bit of shooting in a minute. She smiles at him here. There you go, she smiles at him. It's the only time she smiles when she's looking at James Bond. Anyway, right, so it's going to show how good a shot he is. Oh, hang on, I've missed it. There we go. Pull, he shoots, and he says, "Oh, will you do it for me as well? What could be easier?" He says, "Could you call one for me?" He says, "Of course, pull," and don't even look. Well, not really. He just shoots from the hip, there we go, like that, and gets it. I wonder if that were real. Did he actually do it, or was it an exploding, whatever they call them? I don't know. But says it is easy, isn't it? Anyway, so showing him his sharks. Very proud of them. And the Disco Volante, they can go at 20 knots. And anyway, so they're having some more. They're going for lunch. They're having some more conch chowder. Is that all they eat there? Must be. Sorry. Jack Daniels hit the back of my throat there. Anyway, he says, Largo says he's going to be busy. So, could Mr. Bond take Domino to the Junkanoo, which is like their Mardi Gras? He says, yeah, of course I will. Because he's busy doing things with atomic bombs. Not that he says that, but that's what he's doing. Right, meanwhile, back at Mr. James's hotel room, which seems to have changed. I don't remember it looking like this before, with all these railings. Maybe it did, I just wasn't paying attention. But Paula's there, Martine Bezic. Or is it Beswick? I've heard it pronounced both ways. I've always pronounced it Bezic. No, it does have a W in, but is it silent? Anyway, whatever. She's there reading, and in comes Fiona. And he says, oh, I've got a date with Mr. Bond as well. And then there's a knock at the other door, and the bad guys come in and they attack Paula. And Fiona comes in and says, shut her up. She gets the photos that they've taken, so they know they're onto them, and they kidnap Paula and take her away. Meanwhile, at the carnival, they're all having fun. And there's Bond and Domino having a little drinky. And Felix is there saying, hello, excuse me. Talk to me down there. Behave, you. Naughty. So he says, oh, just a minute. And he says, Paula's disappeared. She's apparently checked out of the hotel room. She was kidnapped. But anyway. So he says, I'll go and look for it. You'll look after Domino. So I don't know how Largo would like that. Just some random stranger that he doesn't know, just looking after his mole. But anyway. Good job it's not Licence to Kill and Robert Darby, innit? It'd go mental. But anyway. So he goes over to see this is Pinder, by the way, who's like Sharky or the other ones that we see in when he goes to the Caribbean. The other one, Quarrel and Quarrel Jr. Is this film's version of that character. And we learn that they've got in touch with the governor and they're going to have a power outage across the whole island. He says, I don't care about the island as long as Palmyra goes dark. But Palmyra has got emergency generators, we learn. Anyway, so he's sneaking in, and then when all the lights go out, is it a power failure? Is it a power failure? He says, yes, switch to the emergency generator. So anyway. So Bond's going to go in and he finds Paula. We learn that she's dead, but she killed herself. She had a cyanide capsule in her mouth. So, but they were torturing her, for information. And she didn't talk. She killed herself. So poor Paula's dead. By the way, Martine Bezic had previously been in the second one. From Russia with Love. She played one of the gypsy girls that were fighting. So there. Right. There she is. Poor Paula's popped her clogs. So out he goes. So he ends up in the pool. He's going to jump off there. And he ends up in the pool. There we go. Fighting one of the guards. And they're going to shoot him. But Largo says, no, I've got a better idea. And he closes the roof on the pool. There we go, like that. And opens the doors to let the sharks in. Meanwhile, James Bond stabs this fella. So he's all bleeding. And then he puts his puts his breathing device in. Meanwhile, they're letting the sharks in. Oops. I pressed a button and I don't know what I pressed. Something changed, didn't it? I think it did. Oh, yes, it's that, isn't it? Oh, I'm doing things. I don't know what I'm doing. Hang on, where are we? There we go. Pressing buttons. Right, so letting the sharks in. Is that Sean Connery? Can't really tell. Is it? Or is that a stuntman, do you reckon? I think that's a stuntman. I do. But we do see Sean Connery underwater. But sometimes it's him, sometimes it's not. I don't think that's Sean Connery. But we do see him. There we go, this door. Is that? I don't think that's Sean Connery either, is it? No. Because there's an actual shark there. That's why. But we do see him with sharks. But they're to build like a plexiglass. Ken Adam had to build a plexiglass tunnel for the sharks to swim down. Sean Connery mustn't like animals, particularly dangerous ones, because he had in the first one, in Doctor No, he had the tarantula going up his arm, didn't he? And that were, you could see that there were a glass between them. It's a right wuss, isn't it? Anyway, we do see Sean Connery here in a minute. There he is, I think. Oh, where was it? That looks like Sean Connery, doesn't it? So I think that is him. Is it? Might not be. Don't know. It might not. Don't think it is it? But I think that is. That's definitely Sean Connery. Anyway, so he swims through and he's leaning up bloody glass there. Look. Anyway, so he gets out, obviously, and there's one shot. I don't know if this is the stuntman, if this is Sean Connery, but apparently there is the plexiglass in this pool, but they got over it, and as you see, one's heading right for him, and he gets out just in time. Whoa! I bet he shat himself when he looked back. Anyway, right, so he gets away. Anyway, so that he's got away, and goes back home, and he's clapped out all with Pinder. Goes back to his hotel, and this is where he's going to encounter Fiona, who's got her bags there apparently. There she is, and she says, "You're in the wrong room," and he says, "I'm not." Has he gone to her room, or has he gone to his own room? I don't know, but anyway, she's there in the bath, not naked. They wanted her to be, I think, could be Broccoli or somebody says, he wanted her to be naked in the bath, but she says, I'm not. I'll wear a flesh-coloured body stocking. I'm not having a crew of 30 people staring at me bum all day or whatever. But yeah, but she looks mighty fine. Anyway, so he says, give me something to put on. So he gives her a pair of shoes. Dear, that's one of my favourite things. That. So he's waiting. So she just gets up, puts a towel round herself. And obviously they're going to do it. There we go, they're at it. And apparently 30 people were watching. They're like guests in or something on this day of filming. They're like 30 people watching them doing this scene. Actors, eh? So there we go, so they're at it. And cut to a blowing horn. And she berates him now. She says, You're a brute, you ruined my hair. I don't know, it looks like it's been well hairdressed. But anyway. So they're going to the carnival thing or whatever. That's what they're going to do. But he opens the doors, a knock at the door, he opens it, and the bad guy's there, and she pulls a gun on him. And so he says, he didn't think, everything I did was for king and country. Queen by this time, wasn't it? But you don't think I enjoyed myself, do you? She goes, oh, yes, Mr. Bond. You think you could look at a woman and she'll, fall for you every time. Because she's the Fatima Blush. Apparently, Ian Fleming did create, a Fatima Blush character. Or one of them created a Fatima Blush character. Whoever wrote Thunderball, whatever. And she does appear in the 1983-4 version, whatever it is. Never Say Never Again. But she's not in this. But she's kind of, the same character. But in this, she's Fiona Volpe. She was supposed to be called Fiona Kelly. She was going to be an Irish, bad guy. But when they picked Luciana Paluzzi with a, Italian accent and all that stuff, they changed her to an Italian. They changed her name to Volpe. Anyway. Right, so they've got James Bond captured, so they're going to drive away, and then they get stuck in traffic because of the carnival, and then some random bloke just comes up to the car with a bottle of booze and saying, "You want a drink? Got a drink of me booze?" I said, "No, get away." And then she just happens to light up a cigarette, and then James Bond obviously makes him spill the booze, and then uses her lighter to ignite the booze, and then makes a run for it. And so they're running through the crowd, and they're shooting at him. They do actually clip him. Does it show it? They do actually clip him in like the ankle or something, or the Achilles or something, the heel or whatever. Is it going to show it? Is it going to show it? For Pete's sake. He's running normally there, isn't he? Is he limping yet? Because they get a shot off at him, and they start following the blood. There we go. So, but then it must miraculously heal. There we go. It takes a shot. There we go. It shot him there. Look, he should be bleeding out. Good job in the artery or whatever that's down there. But he's just limping a bit. He's fine, and then they don't mention it again. He must be like Wolverine. Just heals up, but they follow his blood. So he ends up in like a bar or whatever, restaurant or whatever, after hiding about in another Moonraker thing. I've just realised in Moonraker they end up at the carnival, don't they? Moonraker's just a remake of this, isn't it? They do a bit in the carnival, don't they, where they end up fighting with Jaws and all that, don't they? But anyway. So ends up that was in a bar. There we go. Oh, he sorts himself out. Look, just ties that round. It's fine. And that's it. In the public place, he dances with a woman. This might be the woman. This might be who he dances with. Who's the wife of the owner of, I forgot what they call it, the Sullivan residence, which is the Palmyra estate. But I've looked in the cast list and it doesn't say. She does have lines. Look, she says she does have lines. So I don't know. I'll have to look because it's bothering me now and I don't care. Right, so I'm going to have to look in the trivia. It's in there somewhere. I'm sure it is. But I didn't put it in my notes. So I'm going to do a Control F. And what are you doing? Where's Control? Where's it gone? Oh, go away. It's there, look. Right. I'm trying to remember what to. I'll type Sullivan, see if that finds anything. No, it don't. I'll type Palmyra. Why are you finding anything? Oh, for God's sake. Have I done this right? Find on page. Where is it? Find. I'll type dance. Right, here we go. Right, here we go. Diane Hartford, the wife of millionaire Huntington Hartford, in an uncredited walk-on role as a girl at the Kiss Kiss Club, which I think is where, I think this is playing the music, the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Bang music, I think. Let's have a listen. Oh, for Pete's sake. Hang on.
Yes, isn't everyone?
Yes, it is. Yes, he's playing the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. She had 3 lines with Sean Connery, with whom she was dancing. Husband Huntington gets credited at the end of the movie for the use of his privately owned Paradise Island. Is that the Sullivan residence, or is that somewhere else? Oh no, that's where Bond and Domino arrive ashore. You know, in the boat, when they arrive in the boat and the fella runs out and grabs the boat. That's that. So I was wrong. They don't own Palmyra, but they own the island. Maybe that Palmyra's on. But she appears in one of the Daniel Craig ones as well. I saw that somewhere. I'm sure I saw it. It might have been in the commentary though. I forget. Hang on, it might be in here. Right, let's try again. Oh, it's just there. Try Craig, see if it finds that. The girl with whom Sean Connery was dancing when Bond was escaping from Fiona, also appeared in Casino Royale, playing poker with Daniel Craig. She was the wife of Huntington Hartford. Alright, so it's been in 2 James Bond films. Been in this one, and obviously a lot older, in 2006, so that's like 41 years, so she's 41 years older, Casino Royale, so look for an older lady if you're watching Casino Royale, and it's her. Right, where were we? I'll make sure we're still going. Yeah. Fiona butts in. There we go. And she's going to dance with him. You know, you're caught, James Bond. But then the bad guy's going to shoot her. Or they're going to shoot him. And he turns her just in time. Hang on. Here we go. Here we go. It's going to... As the drum beat or whatever goes mental. Tom-toms. Here we go. Here we go. And obviously she gets shot. She turns just in time. Any second now as he shoots. Because he notices and turns her, I think. So he's got cat-like reactions. There we go. And just the bullet goes in between his fingers, look. Into poor Fiona's back. So Fiona's dead. One of my favourite Bond girls. I know she was a baddie, she was mental, but she was gorgeous. So that's the end of Fiona. Meanwhile, they're getting ready to pay up to Spectre because they haven't heard anything from Bond yet, and he's having some psychic thing going on, probably. Anyway, right, I think they're back out of the helicopter now. Yes, they're back out of the helicopter now, and they're looking at a manta ray, or is it a stingray? I don't know the difference between the rays. And is it in this one? Is it another one where he uses a manta ray, or disguises himself as one? I don't think it's in this one, is it? Maybe he got the idea from this. But they can't see anything, they just see the sharks. And he says that's the Golden Grotto, and earlier on Largo had mentioned the Golden Grotto sharks. So he says, right. But he can't see it from up here in the crystal clear waters. So he says, take us down. So they go down to the land. Good job it's not Jaws 2, the big shark coming out and dragging the helicopter down. But you can't see it with the binoculars in crystal clear waters where you can see the sharks. You can see the bottom of the sea. But no, he uses his bucket. Uses his bucket. And you can see it perfectly. Hang on, where are we? Through the bucket. This bucket's amazing visual skill. There we go. You can see the plane there through the bucket. Stupid. Anyway, so he's going to have a swim down. Because as you can see, the shark's about. And he says, so shoot one of the sharks. And how many sharks did they kill for this film? I meant to look that up earlier on. How many sharks were actually, if I can spell, actually killed in Thunderball? The production of the 1965 James Bond film Thunderball involved the use of real-life sharks, and reports from the time and subsequent sources indicate that sharks were killed during filming. The exact number is not definitively recorded in the available information. So there you go. Film production notes and animal rights concern websites mention that sharks were killed during the making of the film. One source specifically notes that a scene shows a shark with a harpoon right through its head, suggesting at least one was killed on camera. The crew also used a dead shark pulled by wires for a specific shot, though that particular shark turned out to not be fully dead when placed in the water, causing a feeding frenzy with the other live sharks. So yes, they do actually kill sharks in this. It was the 60s, I suppose. But anyway, they're shooting at the sharks, and then he's swimming down to check out the plane. So down he goes. There you go, so he's found it, he knows it's there. Oh, look, there's a shark. Anyway, he finds Mr. Angelo in the cockpit. He sees that the bombs are not there. There's Mr. Angelo. He takes his watch. I don't know why he takes his watch. And his dog tags. Remember we saw them earlier. It's to prove later on, or in a few minutes, to Domino that her brother is dead. But that's not her brother. But he don't know that, I don't think. But anyway, whatever. So anyway, so off he goes, back up. No sharks got him. So he's got to go see Domino now. So here he goes to see Domino, and apparently they do it under the sea. I'm not an expert on these things, but anyway, so there they go. They embrace and sink down in their scuba gear, and then all bubbles come, and we're like, ooh, noises, and then they come out, and apparently they've done it. Have the princess. My cat wants to go out, just as I said that. Just bear with me, I'll let the cat out. To go out. Busting for a wee. Yeah, I'm back again. She's gone out. She must have needed a wee or something. Where were we? Oh, yes, they've had underwater sex, it seems. Because they say, I hope we didn't scare the fish. And she does actually say in a minute, that they did make love. But meanwhile, she's trodden on something and got poison in her foot. So she hobbles over to some towels and he sucks out the poison. And then he tells her brother's dead. And there you go. Retrieves the dog tags and the watch. I thought we were going to turn it over and it'd say, from Domino or something. But I don't think it does. But anyway. So she's sad. And then he says, I need to find out what Largo's up to. She says, is that why we made love? To get information. And he says, well, I need your help. Lots of people are going to die. And basically, yes. But, it was cool. And you are very beautiful and all that. But anyway, so she's going to help him. He gives her a camera that's a Geiger counter. So he says, go around the Disco Volantes if you can find these bombs. There you go. Press this lever. If it starts clicking, the bombs are aboard. But we see that Vargas is sneaking up on him. Has he got a gun? Yes, he has. So this is where James Bond gets him with the spear gun. Hang on, where are we?
You must have followed us.
And a good old quip.
I think he got the point.
Hey! I think he got the point. So, there we go. So she's got to go back and look, they're all friends again now. And look for the bombs while he does other things. Right, so he's off swimming. Largo's men are getting ready. They're going to put on their scuba gear, which is all lined up ready for them by the water. James Bond just found some there. He sees it here somewhere. Where does he see it? I think it's here. There we go. We see them all getting ready. They've put all the gear out ready. So he's going to go check it out. Look, he says, what's all this here? And he checks his watch. And then he hides again. He swallows his tracking pill now. Right, so she's on board now. Very day for night, these shots, aren't they? They're shot in the middle of the day, but with a filter. So James Bond's going to pretend to be one of these guys. Obviously, these have no peripheral vision whatsoever, because James Bond it's like in Assassin's Creed or something, where you just sneak out and grab somebody and pull them. Stealth kill them. He does that with this fella, look. Judo chop! And just rolls him out of view and just puts on his gear. And nobody notices. Anyway. So... Right, so off they go. Remember, he swallowed his... So, what did he say? We're going to swallow that thing? Because now they're saying... Felix Leiter's got his thing out saying... Not his thing, his tracking device saying... Now he's swallowed that pill, we know where he is, or what direction he is. Anyway. Right. So, there we go. No bombs on the boat. So they're heading out to where the bombs are on their little thing. Again, that right-hand side one don't go around like earlier on. I don't know why. They must be going in circles, won't it? Going. I can't do it. Need a drink. Anyway. Dear. Right, so off they go. James Bond, remember, he's in disguise. But he soon gets rumbled. Is it this bit? Because Largo lights a flare and then looks at James Bond in a minute, not just yet. Because they've got the bombs stashed in a secret place with the doors, look, like in a secret cave. That's where the bombs are. So they go out, and Largo's going to see him in a minute. He just looks over and like goes, "Hang on, you're James Bond." In a minute, look, is it this bit? Because he's just there, James Bond, just watching him, and then that's where he goes, "Hey, are you James Bond? Hey, you're James Bond." So they all go for him, and so he has more fights with people underwater, more cutting of hoses and stuff. But he gets trapped. They all leave. They've got the bombs now. They leave, and they shut the doors behind him. So he's stuck in there now. So he's got to find another way out. Meanwhile, they're heading to wherever they're heading. She's going to go and look for the bombs, which are now on the boat. But Largo stops her and he says, "Oh, I told you to stay in your cabin." She says, "I want some fresh air." He says, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, it's a camera." And she drops it and then it starts clicking because of the radiation. He says, "Oh, one of Mr. Bond's toys he gave you, I see. So now I'm going to torture you." He's going to use ice and a cigar and burn her and cool her, and I don't know, but that's what he's going to do because he's evil. Meanwhile, James Bond finds a grotto of some sort, an underwater thing. Something goes here at the bottom of the screen. If you watch, I don't know, is it a fish or something that... Watch, there's some sort of commotion across here. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here it comes. Any minute now. That, what's that? Is it? Oh, it's a wake, isn't it? It's a wake. But he's in a cave. How could there be a wake in a cave? Maybe one of the crew fell in the water or something, I don't know. Anyway, so he's in here, and he sees that there's an opening, but he can't climb out. But luckily Felix is on his way. Anyway, he's going to torture Domino's, tied her up, look. He's going to burn her and cool her with the ice and all that. But whatever he's called, I forgot already, comes along and saves her. And not literally, just interrupts. And anyway, so yeah, here they're coming there. I love these helicopters. The Sea Kings, is that what they call them? Just the cool design and the paint, the Coast Guard livery. I just think it look cool for some reason. I know it's simple, but I just think it look cool. Here they come. He's following his tracking thing. There we go. Direction, left, right. It's as good as King of the Rocket Men, isn't it? With his pack for his rocket pack. Up, down, fast, slow. Oh dear. I suppose that's all you need, isn't it? So anyway, they find where he is, and he uses his flare gun thing, this teeny tiny miniature flare gun thing that he got off Q earlier on, to show him exactly where he is. There it is, look. So they know where he is, and they winch him out. There they go. They're going to winch him out, and he can meet up with the good guys. Here the bad guys. Getting ready, and the good guy. Here come the good guys now. So this is the bit that says like Moonraker, where you've got the good astronauts against the bad astronauts, and you've got the good divers against the bad divers. But they're dropping the goody divers out of a plane. Ooh. So we're getting there now, and they're all going to start shooting each other with spear guns and can't have regular guns. Can't have regular guns that work underwater. I don't know, but anyway. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But anyway, here they go. I'd get all tangled up in me blooming parachute. Anyway, but James Bond... no, it's not that bit yet. James Bond got a super-duper jetpack. At the beginning, he had his jetpack that he escaped in France with, didn't he? And in this one now, he's got like an underwater jetpack, sort of, but he goes really fast. And for some reason, it leaves a yellow stream behind him. Don't know what the significance of that is. But anyway, they're all fighting away. Loads of people dying in the water. You think the sharks would be going mental. The sea would just be red, wouldn't it? But so here they come. It's all exciting, look. I don't think there's much music at the beginning. It starts off quietly, with no music. Just noises. It's weird sound effects as well when they're ripping masks off and stuff. It's all very squelchy sounds. Anyway, so off they go. Quite brutal, some of the kills, I must admit, in this. But James Bond's going to come bombing through in a minute with his super underwater jetpack. Here he is getting ready, which has got its own spear gun attached to it. But there he goes. Why is it yellow? I don't know. Maybe it's having a wee. So while they're fighting, James Bond. That music come on, by the way, because James Bond's arrived. There we go. Sorting them out. I want to hear the sound of him pulling there he's off again with his jetpack. Undersea jetpack. But it might be this way. This weird squelchy sound when they rip what they call them, masks off. They use the same one over and over again. Anyway, whatever. Right, so anyway, so long story short, the good guys overpower the bad guys, get one of the bombs back, but the other one ends up going back to the Disco Volante. I don't know where they were going to take them to. I presume to the... They can't be, can they? Because I'm sure they said it were going to be... Oh, no, that's where they're going to drop the diamonds. That were going to be like somewhere in Asia. But they're going to drop the bomb somewhere, want they to be picked up by the good guys, if they're paid, which they were going to do. But anyway. Oh, he gets these guys with a grenade. He drops a grenade, and while they're gone in there looking for him, in a minute, there we go. He drops a grenade in there. Look, looks like a Old Spice bottle, doesn't it? But it's a grenade because it blows up. It blows up like that, and you see all that's left of them is a flipper. Anyway, more fighting going on. As I said, Largo heads back to the Disco Volante with one of the bombs. He gets a spear through his arm. Did you see that? Look at that. It's got a spear through his arm. And then the sharks are coming. Look, because, as I said, the sea would be red, wouldn't it, with blood. All these people getting speared. But like that. But anyway, look, they're surrendering. The good guys. The good guys are in red, by the way. With white tanks, because, the bad guys are in black. They surrender. Apart from a couple who run off, or swim off, should I say. Head back to the Disco Volante. There's the thing with a bomb on it. Right, so heading back. Did they just have one bomb? Did they leave one bomb on the Disco Volante? I can't remember. But anyway. Here they are. So they're heading out now. We're going to start hydrofoiling now. But here come the good guys on this ship, which is... it's in my notes which ship it is. If I can find it. It's the HMS, a Royal Navy frigate, the HMS Rothsay, F-107, it says there, yes. So that's what that is, the HMS Rothsay. He's going to open fire on the Disco Volante, and this is where he's going to split it in two. But they're releasing smoke to obscure their movements for a bit. But anyway, here we go. So the separates out. Look, cool. And off they go and leave some crew, some red shirts back to fight off the good guys. There they are. I'd be like, no, let's just give in. It's not worth it. Or maybe they're just, the they're brainwashed or something. I don't know, to fight to the death. But anyway, it gets blown up. Obviously, there we go. They fire a shot, and there we go. That bit goes up. Right. Meanwhile, this fella, the nuclear physicist, releases Domino and says, "Tell them I helped you, and I was doing it under duress." So, whatever. James gets on board because he were hanging onto the hydrofoil, has a fight in the cabin with the stuntmen and Adolfo Celli, which most of the time it's the actual actors, doing the fighting. A couple of times they had stuntmen in, and this fella that we eats a couple of times, he's a stunt man. I don't know his name, I can't remember. The only stuntman's name I know is Bob Simmons, but that's not him. So they're fighting away, and gets rid of a couple of them. It's just left with just Largo, and Largo seems to have the upper hand. Oh, by the way, terrible speeded up footage of it going through the reefs and rocks and stuff. It looks terrible. It does look terrible, but it won the Oscar for best visual effects. But anyway. But it looks like Bond's goose is cooked, because look, he's got the drop on him now. He's got the gun on him, and he's about to shoot James Bond. And there's nothing he can do. But then, he's being got from behind, and Domino's killed him. And she goes, first thing she says is, "I'm glad I killed him." And he goes, "You're glad." But anyway, they go, "I'm glad I killed him."
You're glad.
You're glad. Anyway, but the boat's out of control. Look, it's heading super fast. I mean, it's only 20 knots, for God's sake, but never mind. But they can't stop it. So they basically just jump off the boat, and it blows up. And apparently that explosion knocked out windows 30 miles away. I don't know how. They used rocket fuel or something for these explosions. One of the biggest explosions on film. I don't know. I don't know, because the end of From Russia with Love had a massive explosion, didn't it? But when they set off all them oil barrels. But apparently this one blew out windows 30 miles away. I can't believe that from that. I mean, it wasn't that big, does it? Apparently it sent the boat flying up in the air, and all the bits, miles up in the air. Sorry, lads, I've got to tell you, this boat's coming back down on top of us. But they got out the way. But anyway, so they're in the water, they're safe. Don't know what happens to the nuclear physicist fella. He jumped in the water as well with a light ring thing. What do they call them? Life ring, whatever they call them. But we just see them in the water. This plane comes back. Is it the same plane that dropped all the divers earlier? Maybe, I don't know. But it drops a dinghy. There we go. And I don't know, why don't they just stay in the dinghy? Because they get on here, and then it sorts this out, like puts that in there, and grabs on of her. And then the plane, and they blow up a balloon. There we go, balloon goes up. I don't understand this bit, to be honest. And then the plane comes back, catches the balloon, and then just drags them out of the boat. I thought, how are they safe now? Well, they were safer in the bloody boat, weren't they? Now they're dangling from an aeroplane. How are they going to get them down? I don't get it. But the film ends there. They got them down safely, I imagine. I don't know how. Why don't they just leave them in the boat? Because they wanted a cool ending, didn't they? They wanted a different thing, because this must have been a new thing that they were doing. But anyway, so there we go. That's the end of Thunderball. I don't think it says, it might do actually, I don't know if it says James Bond will return in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which he didn't. He returned in You Only Live Twice. So let's, what happened then? No, it just ends there. No. So I think early ones, that's the theatrical version. Maybe the DVD ones, I don't know. The ones that came out on VHS. At the end it said he were returning on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and they took it out because he didn't. He will return in Avengers Doomsday. Maybe he will. We'll see, won't we? But yeah, then it goes to that. So there we go. That's the end of Thunderball. It's a good. I do like Thunderball, but it's not one of my favourites. It's not one of my favourites, I must admit. But it's still a good watch. I do enjoy it. But there we go. But not one of my faves. Right. So all done and dusted. So what's coming up next? What day are we on? Christmas Day, Thursday. Tomorrow. Where is it? Can't find it. Oh, I'm stuck. Hang on. Here we go. Before we do that, next week, so a week from tonight, isn't it? Next Thursday, New Year's Day, we're doing another James Bond film. We're doing another one. We're doing You Only Live Twice for the New Year's Day Bond film. So that'll be cool. Hey, so what's coming up next? So tomorrow night, a Friday Night Appointment with Fear, Anna and the Apocalypse, a zombie horror musical, which I've not seen, so I've got that to watch for the first time. And then on Monday, from Magnificent Mondays, it's Santa Claus the Movie. And then next Friday, it's Christmas Bloody Christmas, which is on Amazon. And the Monday after that, It's a Wonderful Life. Yes, that's what's coming up. And obviously, and then New Year's Day, You Only Live Twice. So there we go. So that's it. That's it. So we'll leave it there. I'll go and finish me Jack Daniels and Coke, which my sister got for me. Right. So. Yeah, we'll leave it there. So thanks, Grace, and thanks, Justin, for the $5 super chat, wishing me a Merry Christmas. And hope everybody has had on Stream Boo over on Twitch. Oh, let's check on Rumble, make sure we know. Chats on Rumble. No, we haven't. Never do. Yeah, so we'll leave it there. So thanks, Grace and Justin and Stream Boo. And everybody for watching on this Christmas Day night. I'm going to say evening, it came out as Eve. Christmas Day evening for me. And I hope you've had a lovely day and eaten loads of bad food and feeling all ill like I do now, but I still want to eat stuff. I've still got loads of like pigs in blankets, sausages with bacon wrapped round that I just want to eat. And all that stuff. And sausage rolls. I love Christmas, but my doctor won't love Christmas in the new year. Probably I'll have a summons to my doctors, and I'll put weight on, and my cholesterol will be all over, and my diabetes will be all over, and I'll have a dressing down coming. But we'll leave it there, right? So thanks for watching, wherever you are. Look after each other. Have a very merry rest of the Christmas, and have a nice Boxing Day tomorrow, even if you don't recognise it as a holiday, but, whatever. Do some nice boxing, whether it's boxing up old gifts, or boxing in a boxing ring, or whatever it means, I don't know. That's what you get for living in the country, with healthcare, yes, with free at the point of service healthcare. And Merry Christmas to you too, Grace. And Merry Christmas to Justin. And Merry Christmas to everybody else. All those that are not watching. Merry Christmas, Josh Temple. Merry Christmas, Joshua Kanapke. Merry Christmas, Adam Gamer and Michael. The other members. And Merry Christmas to Quest. I'm trying to think of the regulars. I'm probably missing somebody. And Merry Christmas, LaRue. And Daniel. Whose name I've forgotten. And all the other people. Merry Christmas to everybody else. And all my family and friends. Right, we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching wherever you are. Look after each other. I've lost it. Where is it? There we go. Look after each other. And until next time, which is tomorrow night, I'll say the...